thanks so much for tuning in to our Facebook Live event to just have a chat with myself and the two other lovely seniors I'm joined by. My name is Zach. I am a senior on campus. I'm a history and classical studies double major, and on campus I am involved in residential life, so I work as an RA, and I'm also on the student government, and I have been for 4 years, which has been great. So yeah.
Awesome. My name's Kate. I'm also a senior. I'm a literature and dance double major. I do a lot of dance on campus, dance team, HEAT, Student Dance Alliance as well. So you have dance questions, I'm your girl. And I'm also involved in the G board of Havoc, which is our largest community service-oriented club on campus.
Hi, my name's Kareem. I'm a senior. I'm a sociology major here at Hamilton. I'm involved as an Adirondack adventure leader. I have my own radio show. It's called Off the Radar with two of my best friends, so you should check it out. Sundays at 1 p.m. And on campus, I used to do student government, and I'm currently involved in the admission office.
Awesome. So again, thanks so much for joining us. Feel free to post questions to the comment sections of whatever feature you're watching us on, so whether it's Facebook or Instagram Live, definitely do that, and we will address them as we go. So for now, we're going to start with just a very classic question. Kate, what was the main reason that you chose Hamilton?
I love this question. This is a great question for right now, especially because as seniors, I'm feeling very nostalgic about, thinking about my prospective student days in freshman year. So I love getting this question.
Yeah.
I chose Hamilton. I think it really gets back to, we're sitting across from the writing center, so this is perfect. The focus on writing at this school. So it was really very clear in all the literature and in visiting campus and in talking to students and the admissions officers and such, that the school and all the classes were very, very focused on learning how to write and communicate effectively. I think we can all agree. And then it also relates to just like this vibe I got on campus. So I really encourage people to visit, because walking around and getting a sense of the students here and the life made me think that I could really be here for 4 years and live here, and that has proven true, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. You have anything to add, Quinn?
I think going off of Kate's point, I visited Hamilton actually on Accepted Students Day, and I encourage you all to visit on Accepted Students Day. Accepted Students Day,
we will be there.
Because that was what made me realize that Hamilton was the place that I wanted to be at. I actually did an overnight the night before, and when I stepped foot on campus, I just got this really warm and welcoming vibe. It felt sort of like the camp that I've never been able to go to, and I stayed with this student who took me all across campus. He showed me like the Science Center, he took me to the diner, even used one of his bonus wipes on me. And the following day, the student took me on a personalized tour to all of the dorms, and I just felt really, at home here. And immediately, as I left campus, I called my mom and said, yeah, I think this is where I want to go.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I have a very similar experience. I think that one thing I remember that struck me on my visit to Hamilton before applying was just the friendliness of the campus. You know what I mean? People were just so welcoming, and I just remember that when I went on my tour, we have so many tour guides here, and so I was able to have sort of like a one-on-one tour, which resulted in it feeling very personal, and that definitely helped me get my questions answered and feel as though I was learning about things that would apply to me were I to come to Hamilton. So I definitely echo what you guys said, and that was awesome for me too. So let's now talk about, you both, I think, mentioned the open curriculum a little bit.
Right.
So Kareem, why don't you talk about, what's the best part of having an open curriculum, and are there any negatives? So, for those who don't know, the open curriculum is essentially one of our biggest promises at Hamilton, that you can study what you love and be who you are. So we don't have any core requirements. Basically, you can come and take 4 history courses in a semester if you'd like. I don't advise it as a major. It's
but you could.
Yeah, you could, but you probably shouldn't. Basically, what we have requirements in are course designations, right? So you have to take 3 writing intensive courses, as Kate mentioned, right? There's a lot of focus on written and oral communication here, and so those writing intensive classes, which exist in a plethora of departments, are intended to sort of grow and develop you as a writer. And that's a special focus that's given to writing intensives, right? And then you have to take a quantitative and symbolic reasoning course, which, you know, off the top of your head, you'd probably think of things like economics, math, sciences, things like that, but they exist in linguistics and anthropology, all sorts of other places. So it really is an open curriculum. And then, of course, when you major, you have to fulfill your major requirements. But up until that point, you know, we're very unique in that way. So why don't you, Kareem, just sort of tell us about the open curriculum and how your experience has been with it?
I think I've really had a great experience at Hamilton with the open curriculum. Before I came to Hamilton, I didn't realize how much I'd appreciate the open curriculum. For example, my freshman year, I had the opportunity to take a biology course, psychology, I took a Spanish course, and I also took a philosophy course. So I got to test out a bunch of my interests, and really the greatest thing about the open curriculum is you can explore disciplines that, you know, for me, the open curriculum meant that I was able to explore these disciplines that I didn't have the opportunity to do so in high school. And even now, with the open curriculum, I'm able to, you know, concentrate in sociology, but I have a minor in Hispanic studies, and I was able to go abroad, you know, because open curriculum allows this flexibility for you to take courses, you know, pick and choose what courses you'd like to take. And again, with the advising system, it works out. So, you know, when courses are offered, and, you know, which professors are the best, or which professors students have, you know, advised that you should take a class with them. So I've really enjoyed the open curriculum here.
Yeah, absolutely. You have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would echo all of those sentiments. I think the other really nice thing about the open curriculum, which is less about exploratory, more about like the quality of the classes themselves, is, you know, because you're not being forced to take a particular class or a particular subject, you're choosing the courses that you're genuinely interested in, passionate about, which means that the people in the course, like I said, are genuinely interested and genuinely passionate. So you're going to end up with much better conversations, people who are invested in the subject and actually want to be in the classroom. And there's nothing like it. You know, I think we've all been in like a class in high school or something where it's just like, I don't want to be here. But that doesn't really exist here because you're really able to choose where you end up.
For sure.
Yeah, which has been great.
And Kareem, I'm a senior, and I'm a sociology major with a minor in Hispanic studies.
So feel free to include more questions in the comment section of the Facebook Live feed. We're answering them as we go. So the next question, a classic.
Is it?
How is the weather?
This is a classic.
This
we
is a
do get this
classic.
a lot.
How is the weather?
You know, today it was a little crazy.
It was a little crazy.
We had every possible weather.
We did,
today.
didn't we? We had rain.
It was rain.
Snow.
I saw some hail.
Some sun.
It was definitely sunny. The sun was beautiful.
That's
the weather's
true.
really nice up here, especially if you're a fan of snow, I would say, in the winter. It is very, very beautiful. It does get cold, but nothing that a good pair of bean boots and a parka could not handle.
Yeah, very true. I love the cold personally. Like that's a thing. I like to really, you know, cuddle up in the blanket at night, right? So, you know, I don't want to. Overheating is just like the worst thing, I feel like, you know, and wearing a nice hoodie is great.
Always cold.
No, it's
Not always cold, yes.
But the weather here, you know, we do get a lot of snow, so
But
be
it's very
prepared. Have some good
seasonal,
boots, you know.
True.
But
It's very nice in the fall, though, and when May comes around, I mean, we have some great concerts outside and such, so let's not forget the lovely
it's true.
spring months
I'm
and
personally
fall
excited
months.
for April. I mean,
Yes.
May's great.
May is fantastic, but yeah.
Hey. Do you have
No. So let's move on. I'd like to say hello to Jennifer and Matt and others who are watching out of Variety.
That's a great question. I feel like the best part about the food is, so we have two dining halls, two sit-down dining halls, and then another dining hall called Diner. That was a terrible way to say it. It is a dining hall, yeah. I'm not sure why I air quoted that. It's definitely a diner. So you have a lot of different options for food as a, you know, gluten-free, vegan, if you want vegetarian options, plenty of ways to get that. There's also international-oriented foods you can get in McEwen. Diner is by far my favorite because I'm a huge fan of onion rings, and they're always there. Yeah, I think there's a lot of variety is the main thing. You're never eating the same thing over and over again, and there's a lot of great options to sort of mix and match, even with the salad bar or a grill station. Anything to say about that?
I had everything that Kate said. I'd agree with. My personal favorite thing to do every day is to check the menu.
Yeah, nice.
Online,
True,
just check what options we have, and it's usually, even if I live on Morris House, which is on the north side of campus, I'll walk all the way to McHugh, and if there's something I see that this sounds like something I need to have today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that my experience with food here has been really good.
Yeah.
There's always something that I want to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm never in a situation where I'm thinking oh man, if only I had this, right? There's always something that I'm looking forward to eating. And one of the other dining options on campus that we have are our two Opus cafes.
Yeah.
Those are big for people who need their caffeine fix. But they also make, is it all vegan or vegetarian?
It's vegetarian.
Right, so it's all vegetarian lunches, and those are great. They make some of my favorite stuff there. They have spicy cheese stuffed naan. That's been great.
Ooh, Opus 2 has peanut noodles every Tuesday. Or they alternate between peanut noodles and sesame noodles. But you'll have noodles on Tuesday in Opus 2.
yeah. So Opus is
That's always
awesome.
really good, yeah.
So now let's talk about the residence halls. How do you feel about your living spaces? Do you find them nice? Have you enjoyed your residential experience on campus these 4 years?
I was actually just talking about this with some freshmen at dinner earlier, about that there really is no bad place to live on campus. I think everyone has their preferences, whether you're a little bit down the hill in something like Shenandoah or Werdemer, where I was freshman year, or Bundy, or you're on the south side of campus, which is where I am this year, in Babbitt, more suite style living. There's a lot of different places to live. So the best part of freshman year is asking upperclassmen to figure out what is your preference in style of living. But they're all really great, and they all have their perks. A bathroom to yourself, or more social style living, or peace and quiet a little bit down the hill, or that sort of thing. But
I lived in South, which is the residence hall we typically show on the tours, and I've had an amazing experience living in a quad. Living with 3 other people, you sort of have to figure out everyone's different living styles. But I appreciate, in that dorm, in that residence hall, we had our own bathroom, our own common room, to sort of set up in how we, saw the best way. So, and you get to see everyone's different sort of I was more of the neat roommate, but then I had roommates who were moderately neat. But for the most part, we all worked out. And right now, I even live in Morris House, which is suite style, so similar to Kate.
Yeah.
But I live on the north side of campus, and we have our own kitchen. So
which is really
that's
nice.
been helpful for those days.
Yeah.
Where, you just want to make a meal with your friends and not really just chilling.
That's a good point to make about dining also, is you have the option as an upperclassman to have a kitchen. So sometimes you cook for yourself, which is great. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, as seniors, right, we obviously sort of are living in more suite style housing. That's definitely different from freshman year. But every single residence hall has a kitchen on its floor, right? So even if it's not a personal kitchen for you, you do have access to cooking on your own. And as a freshman, you have to live in a double, triple, or quad. You can't have a single as a freshman, because we want to make sure that you feel like you're in a community. So that worked out really well for me. My roommate and I got along very well, and we didn't have turmoil in the room, so it's nice,
My roommate and I still live together. We share a wall now because we're in singles, but we've lived together all 4 years.
Very nice.
Shout out to Abby Euling. She's the homie. She's great.
Yeah. So now we've got a question from Kaylee. What kinds of clubs are you involved in? Also, I don't know if y'all can answer this, but what is the acapella scene like?
That's a great question.
I read her question verbatim, so
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I would say, as a member of student government, right? Technically, it's a student club,
right.
And one of the things that I can say about sort of supervising clubs, as student assembly does, we do a lot of funding for Hey, Rich. We do a lot of funding.
Shout out to Rich.
Shout out to Rich on our tech team right now. We do a lot of funding for clubs, so we get to see all kinds of really great events that clubs are planning, right? So like one of my classic favorites has been the NAR Club. Their description is just that they like to do gnarly things. I remember they built a giant snow sculpture. Was it an octopus or a crab?
Yeah,
I
it
think it was.
was. That was unreal.
Yeah, it was, and it was in the middle of the quad. It was huge. It
forgot
was
all
pretty
about
wild,
that. That
right?
was so cool, yeah.
Exactly. So it was a really cool thing that they did. And they made a massive slip and slide when the weather got nice at one point. They've done all sorts of cool stuff. So I am not necessarily in any like clubs, but as students, somebody I sort of get to see like clubs. But I get to see all the great stuff that clubs are doing. So yeah. Well, club. You run clubs.
I do run clubs. I run some clubs, yeah. Like I said, I'm involved in a lot of dance. So dance team, which is a club, and Heat, which is a hip hop crew, also a club, and Student Dance Alliance, which sort of oversees the dance clubs as a club.
You do a lot of dance.
I like dance.
Do you like to dance? Are you,
Just a
are you-
little.
Just a little
Only a
bit?
little,
Okay.
yeah.
Are you a dance minor?
I'm a dance major.
Major?
Oh, come on.
Next.
Major,
You could have
major
figured
key.
that one out.
But going to Havoc, the community service organization, so they're really great because they will sort of bring community service opportunities to the rest of the school as well. So they have service trips that you can go on and fundraisers for bake sales and that sort of deal. There was another club I was going to mention. It's gone. Cream. Before I.
Well, two clubs that come to mind are ones one I'm not currently involved in anymore, but I'm still part of connected to that community, and it's the rugby team. So it's not necessarily a club, but it's a club team, and that was something that really helped me make a lot of friends here in Hamilton. I don't have any experience doing rugby at all. Never played before high school, but I was like, hey, let me join. And it was, I think, one of the most amazing times I've had, even though it was a semester. And another one I want to mention is being involved in the outing club. So I'm an Adirondack adventure leader, as I mentioned. Actually, Kate and I met.
We're on the same orientation
We were on
trip.
the same orientation trip.
First day
and
buddies.
I still have my bracelet, Kate.
I lost mine. It's gone. I'm sorry. You get a bracelet at the end of your trip,
Yeah.
and he's really fantastic and has kept it this whole time, and I have no clue where it
She
is.
lost it. So.
That's great. So
yeah.
we got lots of questions popping.
Yeah.
up. So let's
get them going.
jump through these. Oh, and the acapella part. We have 5 acapella groups. 1 all male,
2 all female.
2 all female, and then 2 co-ed.
co-ed.
And all of them are incredibly wonderful. Acapella groups get a lot of support for their concerts on campus
tons of support.
because so many of our friends are involved from freshman year to senior year. And as somebody who's been coordinating their performances during the commencement time of this year, it's been great to work with them, and they're super inviting and fun. So they sing all kinds of things, from those serious, somber, like pull your emotions out songs to didn't
Musical theater.
yeah. What did the Buff? They did like "Baby Got Back" one year
Oh
or
my
something.
gosh,
The
yeah, they
Buffers
totally
have
did.
done
Boys
some
to
silly
Men.
stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
Boys to Men. So
That's the all
it's
men's
been
one,
great.
just in case that wasn't.
So now a question from Jennifer: how is the football team? Do a lot of students attend games and really get into them?
That's a good question. As a member of dance team,
Dance.
who does in fact dance for the football team at home games, yeah, they're really good, and they're doing better this year as well, which is great because I think we got a new coach recently.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and they're also just a great group of guys, like very close with each other. They have a lot of school spirit when they go out there and play, and I think a lot of people end up coming to games, which is great, especially during Parents' Weekend and during like senior games and that sort of thing, which is always really fun to be dancing for a lot of people as well. Yeah, it's great. They all come out to Steuben Field and hang out. It gets a little chilly towards November, but always a good time. Yeah.
You got I saw your slick
Hamilton
black
gear.
dance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Your
Yeah.
slick uniforms. And in general, right, our D3 sports here, because I don't think 1,800 people is a small amount of people by any stretch, but we are a much smaller campus than a lot of colleges, and so, oftentimes you're in class with many other athletes and whatnot. So our sports teams get a lot of support simply, out of regard for, being friends with them, right? Like they want to
Exactly.
show up and support. So I've lived with two guys on the men's varsity hockey team for 3 years, and I'm always going to their games, and it's been great to see the support that they get. And our hockey team did really well both this year and last year, so we've got a lot of school spirit. So here we've got a question from Harry and Trish about social life. Is most of the social life on campus? What is a typical weekend like?
Yeah, go for it.
I think on weekends, what I pride Hamilton on is bringing a lot of entertainment to campus. So we have a lot of we have our campus activities board, CAB, that brings a lot of, student run. So students are performing at these acoustic coffee houses. They're bringing outside performers. We have a lot of games that are also going on. So Kate's dancing at the, whether it's the basketball game or football game. So there's a lot of sports events going on. I typically on the weekends like to take some time to either get off campus, because during the week I'm just like involved in all these clubs and organizations and go to these meetings, and I got to fit class in there too. But I typically like to go out into Clinton or sometimes Utica, Syracuse, and just explore the area. So that's some aspect of social life. Do you have anything you want to add on?
Absolutely. I feel like there's a good range of things too. So there's, the larger concerts you can go to. There's some, social gatherings as well in all campus spaces on campus. Sports if you're interested in more athletic things. Or there's also like low-key hangs, with your friends, like staying in and watching a movie or doing a puzzle. I don't know why puzzle came to my brain, but you could do a puzzle. And I think the residence halls really facilitate that of just kind of like hanging out with your friends when you want to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have a question from Sarah. What sort of mental health facilities and support does Hamilton provide? How accessible are they? As an RA on campus, right, I am technically a resource for students, so I'm a residential advisor, and everybody has an RA for all 4 years of their time in Hamilton. I remember that my freshman year, my RA made a big difference in my experience because she was so welcoming, she was so supportive. Every RA is a sophomore, junior, or senior, right? So you can't magically become a freshman RA. And so every RA lives with their residents, right? So it's not that your RA lives somewhere and you don't know where they are. They're someone you see around, and they we act as a resource for students, right? So we can connect you not only with support that we can give you as a friend and general sort of counsel, but also we are trained to sort of be able to refer people to the counseling center, to our deans who look after student health on campus and accessibility issues, etc. But we have a lovely counseling center. We have a new building going up for those of you who haven't been able to visit campus. It's a new 2-story health center. It's going to have a floor for the counseling center and a floor for the health center. Right. So really just awesome resources available. Do you guys have anything you want to add about that?
I just want to plug that we also have a peer counselors group on
they're
campus
really great.
who also serve as resources on campus, so you can schedule appointments with peer counselors. They have open hours, or if there's one that you want to see specifically, you can reach out to them. And they also run the counseling center, and peer counselors run group counseling sessions to around specific, there may be around like eating or like something about family life. So there's definitely different group counseling sessions available through both the counseling center and the peer counselors group.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great time to ask that question. Like, I'm glad that question came up too, because it's something that I think the students here really care about, and it's definitely being talked about. It's like a great topic on campus right now. So it is important and something that we really value and are thinking about.
Agreed.
Good question.
From Kate. She said, Kate, you have a clone. She says, I'm so glad that you guys are doing this, so yay us.
Thank you, Kate.
We're so glad you're doing it too. What do you wish you had known before coming to Hamilton, Kate? From Kate to Kate.
What do I wish I'd known before coming to Hamilton?
Love Kate. Sincerely, Kate.
I need to think about this one. Do either of you have? This is a good question. I feel like they prepared us really well with all the literature.
That your high school did, or that college?
Just the literature that they gave to us, I guess, and sort of hearing about it from, yes. What do I wish I knew before I came to Hamilton?
I wish I knew before I came to Hamilton.
I wish I knew before I came to Hamilton. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I wish I knew before I came to Hamilton. I wish I knew. 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 I wi
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say that I'm going to look at this question from the perspective of like, what do I wish I had known before coming to Hamilton in terms of being in high school and blah blah. You know, one of the craziest things about the high school to college change is the amount of free time that you have.
That's right.
I was not expecting to go from being a senior in high school and having class all the time and periods taken up all the time to suddenly having maybe 2 classes a day. Usually, you know what I mean? It's crazy the amount of time that opens up. And so one of the things that I sort of wish I had known is that it's okay to come here and sort of be like, wow, I need to sign up for all the clubs and all the extracurriculars I can, but then also to dwindle those down, right? Because you're human, you need rest. And so while you might have been used to, you know, constantly being involved in things in high school, it's okay to recognize that you need to have time for work and for health and all that stuff. So that's what I would say. Did you come up with your response, or you've had something?
Well, that was kind of my response about speaking in terms of clubs. When I came to Hamilton after coming from like high school where there weren't many like clubs and organizations to join, I came here and I joined everything. And I was just going to club meeting after club meeting after club meeting and just realizing, you know, clubs are great ways to meet people. That's why I like joined a lot of them. But also realizing just 1 or 2 clubs that you're really interested in that you can put 100% into is important.
Yeah, not to discourage joining a lot of clubs
Yep.
too, because you want to experience new things and be able to explore when you get here as well. So
it's good
but I
to
agree
like
with that.
over saturate your schedule
as a freshman,
and then
and then figure out what you're very passionate about
agreed.
from there.
Kate, this question's from a parent named Janet.
Incredible.
The student body is small.
Yes.
Do you sometimes feel it's too small or just the right size for 4 years of study?
Never too small. This is a great question. My high school only had about 100 students in it, so pretty much anything feels big. Not 100 students total, 100 students per grade.
Nice. Yeah.
So anything feels big to me. But I really love how I'm meeting new people every year, pretty much every month, every week even, at Hamilton throughout all 4 years. So I haven't met nearly everyone that goes to this school, but I can walk around campus and pretty much be able to recognize people from freshman year who I haven't seen in a while, or who are my everyday friends sort of deal. So it's just the right amount. It's Andrew Gillings, who's actually one of the orientation leaders, has this really great thing he says every year when freshmen come. It's like, it's big enough that you can reinvent yourself a couple times and try to experience something new and then try on a new hat, but small enough where you still feel like you're supported, like you're not overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
From Jackson, full disclosure, what are 3 things you wish were different about Hamilton?
Wow. We could each say one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with each say one because I like being here too much to have 3 things.
Mine's pretty superficial, but because I had trouble finding a table today, I'm going to say that. I wish the dining halls were a little bit bigger, because we love each other so much and we all have the same eating schedule apparently. It gets a little crowded in Commons, but it's lovely again because you get to see all your friends when you're going to Commons. Again, very superficial. That's what came to mind.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Do you know? I'm trying to think. It's hard.
Another one if you want to.
I mean, I'd say I wish that we had maybe sometimes in Commons, right, when there's a particular, Commons is one of our main dining halls on campus. Yeah. Maybe when there was like, sometimes they serve mac and cheese or something really good, and then the line gets massive, and they have one server, because like, and so sometimes like the line is a little, like, takes a while to get through there, and so maybe, I don't know, I guess I'd say like another server sometimes to the popular meals, I feel like they know, but yeah, I guess that's what I'd say. Can't change the weather necessarily, so I won't say that.
Well, we love the weather.
I'd make it a little bit warmer, a little bit sooner.
If you put on like more clothes,
that's true.
That's fair.
You change your own.
You just need more golf sweatshirts.
No, just change your own.
That's true.
I think that the fact that we are bringing up like what we were describing as superficial things just speaks to the fact that like the administration is really great about listening to any concerns we have. So like if something does come up, the change is pretty, well met, or what am I trying to say? The administration really listens to its students. I mean, these like larger concerns that you may be looking for don't aren't like fully a thing.
Yeah,
That makes
agreed.
sense.
So, for those of you just joining us, welcome. I'm Zach. I'm a senior. I'm a history and classical studies double major. We've got
Kate, who is a literature and dance double major, also a senior.
And I'm Kareem. I'm a senior, a sociology major, and a Hispanic studies minor.
and we're back with more questions. So
What's
from
the show called?
Trish,
We need like a team handshake
Yeah,
too,
like
like thumbs in or
hands in.
something.
From Trish, can you talk about any experience you had with Jans? How did they integrate into your friend group, etc.?
I can speak to this. Two of
Get
my
it.
best friends are Jans, and they are lovely.
My best friend's
Anna
Jan.
O'Keefe and Catherine Spano, if anyone knows them or if they are watching. I love them dearly. So Jans, in case people don't know, they're January admins. They're people who go abroad to our London program their first semester freshman year, and then they come on campus in the spring semester, which can be nerve-wracking, so I'm told, because you're new the second semester, and these other freshman students have sort of gotten to know each other. They get very, very close. They have a great time in London, so I'm told. They're also the most delightful, like something about who ends up being a Jan, they're just the most delightful people
Yeah,
consistently,
that's true.
and very outgoing, very funny, and they love talking about the fact that they are Jans.
Yeah, true. There's a lot
So
of Jan
much,
pride,
so
for
much
sure.
so.
And also, doing that your first semester of college is such a maturing experience,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
there's a different level of maturity of the Jans when they come back versus the students who have been here. And as a Jan orientation leader, I've been a Jan orientation leader for 3 years.
We were Jan
yes, that's right. We
OS,
did that
yeah.
together. Was it last year?
It might have been 2 years.
2 years ago,
I
sophomore
was
year.
abroad.
But the Jans are very close to my heart. I love checking in with them, and they integrate so well. People are so excited to see them, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the things about having a smaller student body is that like we know when somebody comes and is new,
Yeah.
right? And because of the friendliness of the campus, people are just sort of like, I want to know this person.
Welcome, yeah.
So it's great. Emily says hi.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Hey, Emily. This is so great. Do you ever feel like you are in the middle of nowhere being in Clinton?
It's a great question.
So I'll answer that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually like being in Clinton. I'm from New York. I'm from a big city, so New York City, and it's very fast-paced. Everyone's just like on the go. Everyone's just not even. No one's looking over at anyone. I feel like here in Clinton, it's slower paced. There's this community of people where I can build like these intimate relationships, and obviously there's not like an MTA around here where I can just hop on the train.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy exploring the area, particularly like going to Clinton, the Adirondacks, not that far.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did one of the 46 peaks, and I think that's the great part of just being in Clinton, New York. And even we have this glen, in the back of Hamilton.
Yeah.
The trees.
Just I call it like the forest in our backyard. It's just something where I like to explore.
Yeah.
So I think coming from a city to Hamilton, it's actually been a very great experience.
Yeah. And here we have a related question from Preston. How easy is it to get around campus without a car?
Very easy. Around campus, too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just walk.
You
Yeah,
walk.
It's 10 minutes from one side of campus to the other.
Yeah.
If you're slow like me, though,
you're
it's
fast.
more like
Quick.
12. Let's be
But
real.
we have such a large campus,
Yes.
but it's still not hard to traverse.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And the Glen really adds on a lot of those acres. So it's doing the nature walks sort of past like the main hub of campus where the buildings are that add on that acreage. Piggybacking off of Kareem also, I can't believe I just used that phrase. I think like we don't pretend to be a city because obviously we're not. But there are benefits to where we are that makes Hamilton special. So the fact that we have the Glen, the fact that you get this rural community around you, you can get really close with the people in Clinton, but you can also really focus on the relationships on campus, which is something you wouldn't be able to get in a more urban area. It makes our location special, so it's not like you're missing out on being able to go somewhere else, if that makes sense. Just to spin that a little bit.
Agreed. Now we have a question from Julian. Is there a strong musical presence at Hamilton?
I'd say so. I surround myself with a lot of people in acapella, so for me,
true.
absolutely.
My roommates.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
Sam.
my roommate Sam. He's in maybe like he's in the Buffer, so that's an all-male acapella group. He's in Terrapin Trio, which is like a Grateful Dead
Dead cover band.
He's in like what is
He's
the-
in everything,
He's in
yeah.
everything. And then
Yeah.
my other roommate, they have like this parody band of Blink 182.
Called Stink 182. They're great. They're so good
182,
too.
you should check them out.
Yeah.
So I think we have a huge like music presence on this campus. We also have a bunch of ensembles. How many? Do you know how many?
Well, we have the choir, and then we have like the Masterworks choir, orchestra,
jazz bands,
jazz
ensemble groups.
band.
The music
Yeah.
department itself, so you can take like music
our,
theory
Our
and
theater department does
yeah.
musicals sometimes.
definitely there if you want it.
Yes, agreed.
Absolutely.
I took piano lessons at one point.
There you go.
So great. Some great one-on-one time with my teacher. Yeah, so definitely. And I believe now we have here our last question. Ding 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 ding. This is a second question from Jackson, who says, "My daughter is headed to Hamilton in the fall, and we are all so excited and grateful.
Congrats. That's so
We're
exciting.
super excited to have you.
Can't wait to have you.
Can you talk about your orientation week experiences and about how many students are in each group?"
I love this question.
do you-
Cream and I were both orientation leaders, and once again on the same
And
trip.
yeah.
So this
Same
is
trip.
just
Oh, you were on the same trip?
yes.
Okay, there you go.
Amazing.
This one.
Go for it, yeah.
You go.
So we've got 3 different types of
Go
orientation
after you.
trips. AA, which is Adirondack Adventure, XA, which is Exploration Adventure, and OA, which is Outreach Adventure, and they're all adventures, as you can see. So they each have a different spin. You can go sort of camping, hiking,
Right.
canoeing in the Adirondacks. More community service oriented with Outreach, and then Exploration is like
More
academic
sort of,
museums,
Yeah, like learning based.
usually
like
with professor.
Like beekeeping trip or like
So
something
cool.
about like the art.
What? How could you
Amazing.
not want to do that?
I feel like
What?
they usually cap around 12 people, I want to
I
say.
feel like
Yeah.
the biggest group is 10 people.
Okay,
And
there
then
you
they
go.
have 2
Two leaders,
co-leaders,
okay,
so it's
yeah, yeah.
12 overall.
Yeah, but they don't get bigger than that. It's a really great opportunity to get to know like a small pocket of freshmen first, and then be able to sort of acclimate to the rest of
And
campus when you get back.
Just to speak specifically about our trip, so Kate and
So
I
good.
did the 90-mile canoe challenge, which is actually sort of
A race.
it's a
during the year,
race
yeah.
that they hold up in the Adirondacks, and I'd never been canoeing before, and it was designated as a spicy trip, so they're
Which means hard.
spicy,
We call it
like
spicy.
you know.
Yeah.
So mild, there's mild, medium, and spicy. So I chose the spicy one. I no regrets.
Cream's adventurous.
He is
'Cause I'm
adventurous.
adventurous.
And he was amazing on this trip, yes.
I was amazing.
What was it? What was your trip?
90 miler.
90-mile canoe challenge.
The trip, Zach. It was the
90.
trip.
Wow. Yikes.
So I think the orientation week, it's a great way at least to ease in from like your high school into Hamilton and sort of create that community, sort of at least a smaller community that you can feel like that sense of belonging before you enter into the larger community. So you come here, you know, play some games on the field, you get to know one another a little bit, go into your group. Your trip's about 4 to 5 days. Sort of,
Trip.
there are a lot of sort of, I want to call them.
Like bonding games
So,
and icebreakers.
yeah, there's a lot of
that sort of
bonding,
deal.
icebreakers, and you know, administrators sort of helping you get acclimated. And we have a first year experience program that holds like workshops about like time management, health, health and wellness, things like that. So I think the orientation week was instrumental in like me adjusting, from high school to Hamilton.
I miss it,
And
yeah.
that's why Kate and I became leaders.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still have my bracelets from
you do.
every trip.
Honestly, I'm so jealous for you guys. I wish I could do it all again. So
Yeah,
you're gonna have
that's
so
so
much fun
great.
on them. Seriously.
I actually just had a reunion dinner with my orientation group from
Aw,
freshman
that's
year.
cute.
Yeah, it was
Jeez.
crazy. So I couldn't believe that 4 years later we were all still sort of sitting together, which is awesome. Now we have actually a question that just came in. from Maureen. What are your plans after graduation?
This is a great question. I just found out about my plans yesterday, which is so exciting. So thank you for asking. I'm going to be teaching in Scotland with a fellowship that is offered through Hamilton. So I ended up applying to that and then getting it. So and actually my good friend from last year is in the position right now. So I'm going to be working, thank you, with high school students largely in this private school in Scotland. Very excited.
Awesome.
That's great.
So I was recently awarded a Watson Fellowship. The Watson Fellowship, sort of a year of doing exploration, a sort of personal project about something you're passionate about. I'm really interested in higher education, specifically sort of access to higher education. So I'll be going to, starting this summer, I'll be doing a year spreading my year out in Chile, Germany, Finland, and Japan, so exploring in there, going to Chile, and again, my interest in higher education. So I'm really pumped and excited for all the other Hamilton students. So 3 other Hamilton students were awarded Watson Fellowships, and then 2 students were awarded Bristol Fellowships recently, which are the Hamilton version of the Watson.
Yeah.
So cool.
So
yeah.
we're all
It's crazy, all the intellectualism. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I would like to also remind you about our visit days, right? So Monday through Friday, we've got tours that happen every day in the offices. We've got a lot of information sessions happening right now. And on April 16th, we have our accepted student open house. So come through. We will be there.
Yeah.
You can talk to us in real
Zach
life.
Oscar will be there. I will be there. But
Kareem
this guy
Nugent
is
will
going
also
to
be there. And,
I will also be
and
there.
so
I
will
don't know
Kate
why I
Wider.
left out
We
of
will
this.
all
Yeah.
be there. Again, congratulations to everyone admitted in the class of 2022. Please feel free to go to our website to check out more information about the school, and you can also contact us. Yes. So we're a part of the class of 2022 Facebook page, and there are other ways you can get in touch with us if you reach out to our admissions office. They'll be happy to put you in contact with us. And so, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Nice to virtually meet you. Ish. Yeah.
Yay.